A silly video on a silly subject. I'm just going to read all my notes. Negative ion, natural, unpolluted, pure, ancient, pure, Punjab, Pakistani, Himalayan is the usual wording. 84 trace mineral element sea salt is unsuitable, depending on where it's gotten from, and it's not regulated to determine if it is or isn't, as a food or industrial use. Yes, I said that correctly. It's unsuitable for industrial use because it's impure. You have to use purification to remove its trace elements, the 84 of them, minerals and elements. I'm going to list what was found in the stuff by doing a simple sample. I'm going to tell you who produced this list after I list the thing and alternatives that you can use. Fluoride, uranium, plutonium, strontium, cobalt, arsenic, cesium, barium, mercury, lead, radium, thorium, lithium, beryllium, boron, sulfur, scandium, selenium, cadmium, and tellurium. Tellurium, if you're not aware of it, like plutonium, is an element that received a name recently. Many more impurities and minerals and the compounds. At that point, you don't call them minerals. Half of those are listed on your list of things to avoid because of chemtrail memes, and you can't claim a trace element that's really horrible like lead, mercury, cadmium, selenium. Oh well, homeopathy says the bad elements are always weaker when they're in smaller amounts, but good ones are always stronger. No. Will a block of salt, it doesn't matter what kind of salt, because the majority, 99 point, whatever percent, is just literally salt. Will a block of salt, whether it's mineral salt, sea salt, with a light bulb jacked into it, emit negative ions by continuous interplay of water molecules in the air being attracted and then re-evaporated to create positive ions? What is an ion? Water molecules. It's not the minerals. So any salt would work. No. Red rock salt is just like all other salts. The trace elements don't change its behavior. Its face-centered cubic structure for the crystals mean that it's not asymmetrical. It does not give rise to a voltage change even on a molecule by molecule level. It will not generate ions by heating and cooling around individual crystals or groups of them. There's no way to cheat this. They self-assemble into a non-battery arrangement. Quartz crystals can do this if you apply heat and tension to them. There is one that's asymmetrical, and it's a crystal structure of tourmaline. You can get rock tourmaline and heat it up and cool it down, and it does this. And it actually generates ions. Now, of course, you're sitting there thinking, okay, so this is literally the mechanism. It literally acts as an electrical charge based on heat. Inefficient as hell. But it won't generate ozone. The reason lightning produces air that smells nice, or at least has that smell to it, is ozone. That's oxygen atoms that have been jacked into each other, and it's not healthy for you because that's one of our ratings for pollution. What does it have an effect on that is actually useful? Ionized gases, or temporarily ionized water molecules, pull pollution, dust, particulate matter out of the air. It makes it drop. So what you want to do is generate negative or even positively charged ions in the air. You want to be able to breathe, so it cleans it. It's not the ions making you feel better. It's that you're subconsciously sensing that the air is going to clean up because it was raining recently. Fire can do the same thing. Any energy source put into a gas will do this, as long as it's a bare source. Obviously, a fire would produce more pollution. These Punjab pink salt crystals from the Himalayas, it's from Pakistan, do not put off materials you want to inhale. It's bound up by the salt molecules. You're not going to get poisoned by most of this, right? The trouble is, you can't do the homeopathy, earth changes, earth smother mantra while annoying every one of your friends and not acknowledge cobalt, arsenic, cesium. Do I have to list its you have more chance of getting exposed to radioactive elements from this stupid block of rock salt than you do from fucking Fukushima. Okay? So what is the effect you get from waterfalls and stuff? I'm just going to get it to the point. Water molecules dropping through air in a mist or a fog produce positive ions. They become ionized because of friction with each other. Just like a cloud produces lightning, instead of producing lightning, which would also produce the ozone, you have freely floating ionized molecules of water. Well, how do we do that? You spray water in the air? I'm not kidding. You can have an indoor, this is the easiest way to do it, and it won't produce any gases like ozone. It doesn't have enough intensity to produce them. You drop a shower of mist of water molecules. You use a air hydrator that's mist based. As long as the mist moves a distance of, well, it's 1,000 volts per inch, so make sure it moves more than an inch into the air, and then just make sure the air in your home is hydrated slightly. That will drop all the crap out of the air, and it will have the effect, if it is a subconscious effect, placebo or not, that may make you feel better. You can also deliberately add ozone to your air supply. I don't recommend it. The other thing this does is, I'm going to tell you the practical application. You can make an ozone generator of a high voltage source with a glass separator, creating an electric charge that's less than an eighth of an inch apart, with air going across it, usually with a fan, and it has the effect of ionizing the air, and it makes ozone, but it also makes ionized air. I don't recommend that, but you can do that in two. I recommend using the the air humidifier kind of thing. Or just filter the air and get rid of the pollution, which is probably what's messing with you. Or increase the oxygen content by having some plants. Some plants also have a habit of releasing water molecules, so they produce the positive ions. Get an indoor garden, make sure it's not toxic to any of your pets. That will eliminate 99% of the problems, because it will force the air to be highly oxygenated, because they turn what you breathe out into what you want to breathe in. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's been working for how many billion years? This is our planet. What you're wanting to do is go out and experience it. But please don't eat literally raw salt ore that hasn't been purified into something useful. Yes, pure table salt. You can get rock salt if you want to. You can get it with iodine. The iodine is to make sure that you have enough iodine in your system. That's all it is. It's not supposed to make you dumb, or it's not chemtrail shit. You don't want to eat raw rock salt. No, well, it doesn't hurt you. You can actually see the list that I'm talking about with beryllium, boron, lithium, thorium, radium. Okay, now that we're at the 8-minute mark, I'm going to say go to the 8-minute mark and listen. The list of elements in this rock salt was from a site promoting using it, because they decided to analyze it. That's it. Those are the elements that are listed, even if they're in micro trace amounts. As you know, whenever you make something lower dosage, it's much more effective. You can't have homeopathy on one hand and then bitch and complain that I'm listing something. Well, it's less than 1 part per billion, but that makes it stronger, right? You can't have your homeopathy thinking and decide that a trace element of cadmium is good for you, and then make excuses. And if you want to build one of these things, you can just, how to make your own salt lava. It's a lava lamp. Come on, guys. It's a lava lamp. Just get some red dye number 5, or whatever the hell it is that's supposed to kill us. Put it in some salt. You know, there you go. You can also get what's sometimes called fake mineral salt. It's superheated salt that's gone liquid, and it gets a kind of an orange color to it. You can make the stuff. You can even add in your own compounds. You can control what's in it. The point of science, purification, and precision is knowing what makes it useful and not useful, and then put it in there. Find out what trace elements you think are supposed to be in there for your super spiritual, you know, Zen, Buddhism, mumbo jumbo stuff you want to do. Actually, Buddhism is pretty cool. Zen is always cool, but I got to throw that in because I have to throw myself under a bus. But do it under controlled conditions like a scientist. 99 parts pure rock salt. I mean, purified salt. You can buy it really cheap, and then add 1% of its entire mass in a mixture of every element that won't hurt you. Mix it together, make your salt. You'll just have to get it up to several hundred degrees higher. You might have to work at that. Look up salt furnace. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And watch the video below where somebody politely debunks this junk.